Thank you. Thank you so much. I am so honored to be here because, well, one, just to be here, but it's like I feel like I'm in a huge concentration of like the most compassionate people in the world, you know? Like they're my family, you know, my people, you know? And it's just like, oh, you know, I get strength here. I get hope here. Like I hear stories, I feel unity, and I told a couple people how like when I'm in California, when I'm in San Francisco, I'm in my San Francisco clan or group, although we shouldn't say my clan, but everybody's invited, just because this is being video recorded. This clan that I'm in, everybody's welcome. So I just want to say that. We don't exclude people. We just want everybody who loves animals, and we'll do something about it, and be vegan. Yeah, and then when I moved down to LA 3 years ago, I found an amazing like family, just like that. It was done. It was like I was in my people. And then when I go to national conferences, it's just so exciting because it's like, wow, all these people. But then like going 10,000 miles away, and my family's still here. It's so cool. It's so cool. It's like, oh, yeah. It really gets me, my heart. Yeah. So, okay. So I want to say from the beginning, at first I was going to say we are all lights. But then I listened to Lisa Kremer's talk, and I don't want to say lights. I'm saying that. But we're fires. We could say that. And it's so important for each one of us to keep burning. Because I know sometimes I feel like, you know, I'm in this freezer, and I'm this only match that's like burning. And it's like, how am I going to keep burning when I don't have the comfort of like my bonfire here? But we're so important. Each and every single person in this room is so important to stay alive and to get up every day and to keep lifting your head every day and get out there for the animals, as you know, because a lot of work has to be done. So I guess I was inspired to do this talk. So 17, almost 18 years, I've been an animal rights attorney, and a lot of my job is kind of like almost counseling. A lot of people call me, they get on the phone, they're like, oh my God, I just saw my neighbor do this to my cat or my dog, and like poisoning, shootings, just horrible things, and then the dog fighting. So I listen, and I'm hearing trauma. Like, this is the first time this person on the phone has experienced such injustice, and they're broken. I get a lot of emails from people like, help me with this, and they send me pictures without warning, where it's like, oh. And then you have to, you think about that and process that, and like, some of these images like remain with me today, 17 years later, 10 years later, like just, so there's a lot of processing that goes on, and I'm so grateful that like a lot of the speakers, they would touch on it, like that processing part, because it's like, we're doers, we gotta get up, we're active, we gotta get out there. But there's also like, it's like we already know what's going on, but like, we still have to process it so that this doesn't become part of us. So I like would sometimes like physically get stressed by my opposition. I get really angry that I even have an opposition in court. It's like, why do I have an opposition? Why do I have to fight so hard to save one dog? Like, why is this guy fighting me? Like, this attorney is like spending his time and energy like fighting me. Like, and I'll get like a crank in my back here or in my lower back, and it's like I feel it, you know? And when I'm working, I just, like, sometimes I don't breathe. I'm like, and I don't even realize I'm not breathing. I'm like, and then I remind myself, and I'm like, you know, oh yeah, breathe. So, like, you know, I think a lot, but I haven't labeled myself a philosopher yet. But I think to myself, I don't want this like knot in my back to become the place that I store all this like anger and resentment. I don't want this like this muscle right here, like it's not getting out, to be the place where all this like these like low vibrational feelings are being stored and kept. Okay, I'm not a doctor. It's a history major, a rhetoric minor, and then I went to law school. So I have no medical, well, I did take neuroanatomy with Professor Diamond, so I've one biology class in there. But like, I have no basis to say what I'm about to say, but I'll say it anyway, because it's a disclaimer, right? So I almost feel like sometimes these like diseases and illnesses that people get are the result of not letting things go, not letting things pass through, letting them flow through your body. And I guess it's a matter of processing and health. So it's mind, body. I'm getting ahead of myself, actually, already. So my inspiration was mainly to figure out how to get people to, even nonprofits alike, rescuers alike, to cope with all this stuff, know they're not alone, and get up and out there again. And I'm not going to touch too much on the low vibrational cycle of an activist, but I will say that like some of the emotions that I do go through a lot, they're the sadness. Like when I watched that fish getting eaten alive on Unity, that was so sad for me. And then the helplessness when I listen to the experience of like watching, pigs going into slaughter. Frustration. I haven't actually done that yet, by the way, but I would imagine that's going to be the feeling I have. Frustration when other people are not doing anything and they're just sitting there and letting things happen. What is it? Anger because of the killers. And then a therapist actually told me, I have an unmet demand. The reason why I'm angry, she's explaining why I'm angry. The reason why I'm angry is because I have an unmet demand that people give a shit. Like I have a demand. I want people to care. I want people to have compassion. I want people to act on that compassion. And because that's not happening, I'm getting angry. So like, how do you deal with all these like low vibrational feelings? So I should probably do some of my slide here. Oh, so that's how I feel sometimes. Like I've got so much to do. I have like a lot of clients to feed and take care of and animals to take care of. And like, oh my God, they're constantly chirping. And it's like an image that I have sometimes. Like I'm being pulled and I need to do all these things. And like I'm pouring myself into a desert sometimes, giving. And I sometimes wonder, like, how did I do this for so long? Because there are some times, some moments where, whole years would pass when I remember, like, going to bed at 3 and waking up early again. Like, how is that sustainable? And it's not sustainable. There was a question up there. I think Tobias mentioned, he's like, whether or not that's sustainable, holding on to that anger, whether or not that's sustainable, I'm not sure. I'll answer that. It's not sustainable. It is sustainable if you want to continue to be like an angry person, but then how effective is that in outreach? But then there's the need for, I suppose, angry people that, we've got them all. So there's a need for everybody. So if you're not doing outreach and you're just being angry, there's a place for you. But a lot of times it's great to reach out because that's how we are ripples. That's how we like change other people. And like little things we do or say, it's amazing how people carry it and come back and say, you know what, when you talked about the Animal Enterprise Protection Act back before it was called the that was before it was called Animal Enterprise Terrorism Act, like that totally disgusted me, changed me, and she just focused. That was Odette Wilkins. She focused on that area. And I was like, wow, that's so cool. Like little things that you don't realize, but because it's so intrinsic and so a part of you, you don't even realize that those words, just speaking from the heart, it's like, wow, that like touched a person and they carried it. Okay, how are you gonna fill your cup? Because there are many times that I've just like been so depleted and empty, and the feeling is just tired. I'm so tired. And how do I fill that cup? And these are just a couple ideas of, I just wanted to mention another reason why I feel frustration is that we, as these vegans, everybody can decide what you want to call it, transcendentalized, enlightened, the enlightened ones, but we're also expected to take the high road all the time. And so it's frustrating because it's like, why do we have to take the high road? Like, why can't this person just like everybody has trauma in their life? Why are they killing animals and I'm not? Like, why do I have to take the high road and be compassionate and love them? And I'm working on it. I'm a work in progress. So that's another source of frustration. But it's also like a feeling that I feel and I truly own, but then I don't let it get stuck in my body. Oh, and let me get back to the whole thing about giving a disclaimer. I truly think if you let it stay in your body, that's gonna cause illness. It's gonna cause pain. It'll cause chronic whatever. I mean, I don't even know, cause cancer, but you're not letting it flow through you. You're not getting it out. And that's really important to do. So I'm here to give tips. Here you go. So that's what I mean. This actually was a photo from an acupuncture site. There's a lot of different ways you can let energy flow through you. My acupuncturist would stick needles in me and she'd say, your whole body, this is a place in your body where energy is getting stuck. It's and it would hurt so much when it went in there. She's like, it's because energy is stuck right there. It's not moving. It's going to take 40 minutes for your blood to do an entire lap or something like that. I wasn't going to talk about acupuncture. I just wanted that picture specifically to show you the necessity to get energy flowing through you. To feel what you're feeling, don't let it sit inside you, but let it move. And part of that, and I'm going to talk about mind and body, another subject that I'm not qualified to talk about. But mind and body, a lot of people, I use my brain a lot. And that's where I see my qualities in life. This is how I get into court. This is how I think of plans. This is how I draft a new law. And I almost overuse this part, and I forget the rest of the part, which is why it kind of goes to waste. I don't eat or you don't sleep. It's almost like this vehicle that holds the brain. But I didn't combine it much. So my first I kept doing it. There's a few things. One of them, actually, that's too early to talk about that. Ballet helped me a lot, actually. I'm going to skip forward to the ballet slide. Oh, that's a breathing slide. Ballet helped me a lot, actually. It combined mind and body so much that before you knew it, she would give out the command of whatever, jete, ensemble, whatever it was, the combination, and then you're flying across, and then your body does it. And it's like exercising. It's a practice. The words and the mind blending the body together. And it's amazing because there's some kind of healing process that goes on when your body actually joins together. The action joins together with the mind. I know it sounds really straightforward, but I actually had like many healing moments when my body reacted so quick before I could stop and think and be depressed with my mind because of ballet. It's kind of interesting how that worked. But there's often a bifurcation. One tool is breathing. I know, this is funny. I took a few Qigong classes, but she talked about just like the whole 8 weeks was just about breathing. She said that the healing nature of just like putting air into the sockets of your body that don't get air is healing. You're releasing, you're detoxing. And so this is one thing. If everybody wants to take a deep breath, that would be so cool. And then this is a belly breath. When you breathe in your nose, deeper, and your belly goes out, and then release. Can we do it again? One more time. And I'm going to do it one more time. I know this is crazy. But do you guys feel better? Do you? We do. Thank you. It's something it's so basic. And that's the thing. You're going to know a lot of what I'm saying. You know it already. But you may or may, and I don't want to be judgmental and assume things, but you may or may not be practicing this. You know it just as much as sometimes non-vegans know what's happening, know the facts, but they're not acting on it, And so this kind of stuff, it's look how happy she looks breathing. That's a good happy breathing picture. Another tip, celebrate the successes, little successes, tiny successes. Totally. I know that I tend to focus on sometimes the dog that I lost, or the case that I lost. And it's Jesus, 95% of the stuff, all these wins, but I don't even give myself credit. I demote it. I'll belittle it. Oh, yeah, I did that. You have to celebrate those successes. You have to give yourself that pat on the back and be I did this, So you guys should post it. I don't know, post it on, I'm not even on Twitter, but just tell people, tell your friends, this is what I did. Text it, say it. Because this success, even small, what you might, and I tried to look for a slide, but all of them said celebrate the small successes, small. But it's so relative. The small successes are big successes. It's something good. It was something different. It was something that wouldn't have been done but for your actions. You have to celebrate that. Because when you celebrate that, then it propels more of success. More comes from that. Success breeds success. It's like a turbine, and more and more and more. And I talked to you about Cynthia. Oh, yeah, because of ballet, just in case anybody was thinking, oh, wait, aren't those leather? Cynthia King over in the East Coast, she sells amazing vegan. She didn't pay me to say that, but I just wanted to what's that? Grisco. Oh, nice. Isn't Grisco's in Luxembourg? Russian? Cool. Oh, very good. Grisco, too. All right. And so other ideas, I actually don't meditate. The closest thing I'm very active. I think I need to actively move, and that's my form of meditation, so it's not you have to do this. But my husband meditates. It's completely changed him. He's amazing. He was amazing before. He's amazing before, but it's I sit there, I get up, and I start working, or I go off to yoga, but like I see he's so disciplined. He sits there and he's like sitting there breathing, and I'm like, what's going on there? I still don't understand quite what he's doing, but it changes him. Like he doesn't like, if a person cuts him off, he doesn't like go giving him an ear bashing or anything. He's like, and before pre-meditation he would have. He's very like patient with our 4-year-old, and like he was before, but even more so now. He just like lets it flow. So there's something to that. I'm putting it out there, even though I don't have real life experience. Yoga, oh God, saved my life. I love yoga. I love it because I've found that it really, like, there are times when like, I'll go there sad and I'll be carrying all this stuff, and I go there and like after class, like I've moved so much energy, I'll just like cry, or just you feel like and I almost think that because I'm stretching into areas that I haven't stretched into, like that was a hiding place for those like low vibrational. So I imagine when I'm doing these stretches that I'm actually stretching out those negative low vibrational moods that I was talking about before. I feel like, oh wow, and I breathed into it and I released it, and so it's like you're cleansing your body. So I love yoga. So that's one that I do have. Oh, and surfing. So before the baby, I used to surf all the time, and that was it. It's like I was like crammed. I was doing loads of work, and then I'd be like, Jesus, I need to get out. I need to surf. And the great thing and that was my meditation. I'd be okay actually surfing, but like waiting there for the waves was so amazing, and just sitting there and being in nature. And I think there's something to that, because all this stuff that I'm talking about is about like mind and body connecting that, not like bifurcating yourself. You're a brain, and this is just this vehicle you're walking around in. It's like there is a connection. And I think that connection is also with nature too. So there's something about like surfing. It could be going on a walk. I didn't put the hikers stuff in there, but I mean, that's something probably more appropriate for like Germany, the walks, right? Right? And like, yeah. So that's like connectedness, And something that I loved about surfing is that like, oh, the sea lions, I loved it. I mean, there were times in Pacifica where like sometimes you get really tight curls, and I'd be up and I'd completely wipe out, and I'd be under. And I remember this one time, and I came up, and like right in front of me, like this close, and I tried to get somebody that looked just like him, big, gorgeous brown eyes, this sea lion. He looked at me like, are you okay? I was with you on that wave. That was crazy. And you wiped out. Are you all right? Like, and I was like, oh, he like popped, like, are you? And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm good. And so he was so sweet. Yeah. And that was awesome too about like surfing, just being with the animals, the seagulls, the dolphins that would come by. That was awesome. So like some other advice is like, oh God, the unity that I felt like last night, the DJ was awesome. Just the dancing, the movement. And that's what it is for me. Like dancing for me, it's not like I'm a great dancer, but I'm just moving stuff through my body, and I'm like, who cares? And whatever, it doesn't matter what you look like. And you guys certainly shouldn't care what you look like when you're out in the world, even away from us, because it's like, we don't care what other people think, right? So why should we care about how they think we dance? It's like, you just move yourself. And that was just so exciting to be like in a group, of my people dancing and just like letting it go, moving the energy to awesome music. But like, we're all gonna, and sadly, we're all gonna be going our separate ways after this. And it's like, we're still with you. You're still part of us. Like, I'm gonna remember everybody here every time, like when I'm home and away from everybody, and be like, these people, they know, they feel, they know the same thing, and we're part of this whole. And I want you to like carry us all like in your hearts. Like, we're gonna make this together because like together, like God, we're fierce, powerful. And then this is the other one. To love yourself. It's like everybody says this, love yourself, love yourself, love yourself. And this is like kind of the same thing about like, how it's like, we know that already, but are we practicing it? Like, what does love yourself look like? What does it mean anyway? Love yourself. It means to care for yourself. It means to like get that extra sleep. It means to give yourself a shower. Let yourself have a shower. Give yourself time to take a shower. Give yourself time to, do something for yourself. And I think something else about love is loving yourself is about like forgiveness, Like, I don't want to cry up on the stage, but like, it's like forgiving yourself for like not taking home that adorable dog from Greece, like 8 years ago, Like, forgive yourself for that, There's a lot of things that I've gone through. And, I'll think about like, the bird I wish I would have warned before he got to the hunters a little sooner so he could have gone around, before he got shot, You have to forgive yourself. It's like, and this is what I mean by I'm a work in progress, because I'm trying to do it too. All of these things. And it's easy to say it and probably easy to digest it. But like in practice, it's kind of hard, but like this is so necessary in order to like get up, because we're gonna get knocked down again, and you just kind of have to sit there and cry. It's okay for boys to cry, That's like so stupid. I don't know who discovered or said that. Like, let it move through you. Like, let cry, get upset. And like, do what you have to do to like give yourself that time to breathe, do yoga, whatever. And then get out and get back out there. Because like we're so important and we can't lose any of us. We can't lose, like we're just like, remember, it's like the ripple effect. We're lights. It's like each one of us is gonna like pass a message on. And my son is like trying to convert his grandparents. You know what I mean? Like talk about ripple effect. And that was something I didn't even like intentionally, I'm not telling him, oh, you have to say this, but he knows like everything. He's 4 and he's like, Nana, is that a real chicken you're eating? Like he says this and they get shamed, which he never intended, from the mouth of babes, right? But yeah. So let me see. Celebrate the successes. We talked about that. Love yourself. That's the most important. Yeah, and Saskia, I have a good friend back in Marin by San Francisco. She's been a longtime activist, like for 30 years, and she's got it down. She's on the Sea Shepherd. She's amazing. She's actually from Sweden, so who knows, maybe one of you guys know her. But she's been in California forever. And I was like, what is it? How do you have such a positive? Because I do know longtime activists that are still very bitter and angry and very closed and ill, actually. But she was one that has like such a light, and she's like, oh yeah, you just let it out. Get it out of you. Get it out. Just drop it, like get it out. Like she just like, that's what she does. And also she's like, sometimes I don't have time to do like a class because she's like on the go and like doing her activism. But she goes, I figure out I have to have like percentage of my day to myself, and I take little tiny 5 minutes here and there. That's what she does. Like she grabs like 5 minutes in the shower with like yoga stretches and like And I'm like, wow, that's really cool, you know, because she can't like have the discipline, oh, okay, I'm gonna take 3 hours to go surfing or an hour over here to do yoga. Like, it's like she just grabs pieces, you know, to breathe, you know, to just breathe. So, yeah, I think I covered everything that I was going to talk about. But, yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know that it's like, I love you all. First of all, I love you all for like caring so much for animals, to really, truly want to make a difference. And to make that truly happen, it's like we need to be strong. We need to be like, did I already go through everything? Yeah. You need to be so strong. And to stay strong, you have to be good to yourself and to love yourself. I know it's so basic, but yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks. Yeah.
I just want to say thank you for this amazing talk, and I think it was a perfect ending. I think we all need to go home with this, with loving ourselves and breathing a bit more.
Oh, thank you. I love it. Thank you.
I can just say one thing while the mic is here, but I actually have since a couple of years ago, I have a tattoo on my left hand where I say respira, and it means breathe in Spanish. So sometimes when I forget to breathe, I see the tattoo and I'm like, okay, take a deep breath. It's really good, actually.
That's brilliant. That's so brilliant. My aunt says she has an app that reminds her to breathe. Do you believe that? Yeah.
So we're all getting an app or a tattoo now. Does anyone else have a question or a comment or anything you like to say?
Thanks for your inspiration. So I just want to share something which really helps myself. I think that it's quite helpful for the human brain, and not just the human brain, every brain which has evolved in evolution on this planet, to be in contact with structures that are not produced by the human brain, but which are produced by evolution on a more direct level. So, for example, trees, animals, all kinds, also human animals, but the thing with human animals is they often get messed up in their minds. So it helps to really get away and just to have one day in a week where you say to yourself, now this is a day where I want to go out. And by going out, I'm not saying that you should go out in nature, because I don't think nature is out there. We're in nature, but still go out and find some wilderness, find something that is not grown by humans, but which just grows by itself. And also, I think it really helps to practice a kind of, it might sound stupid, but a kind of passiveness. For example, if you look at a cat sitting on a fence, it looks quite passive. It's just sitting there like with this boring face. But you know, if there is an attack coming, it will jump immediately. And that's maybe because it's not it doesn't have any idea, it doesn't expect if it's coming from here or from there. If it's coming, it just reacts. Right. So it doesn't have any presumptions about what's going to happen next, just, calm. So if you just think of the face of a cat and try to copy that, I think it may help us.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Actually, can I mention 2 quick things just in relation to what you're saying? I remember one day being out in San Francisco, way out on Ocean Beach. So far, it was so foggy, I didn't know which way was the water, like the land. And like, I've been surfing a lot, but that one day, I just, they say humans are animals, and getting in touch with that, like you really getting in touch with like that instinct. All they say, I don't know who they are, by the way, that all prey know when they're prey. Just like, how you said the cat knows something's happening, they jump off. Like that moment, I was like, I actually felt like there's a shark close by, no evidence of it, but the feeling, So that's like getting in touch with like your animal, like within you. That's so cool.
Maybe just so basically, I don't think it's something which is active in the brain. I think it's just stopping the annoying stuff in the brain. I think it's not doing more in the brain. I think it's doing less, because I think the brain is perfectly evolved by evolution to make perfect sense of the world in every sense. Mathematics, also if you just study some stuff, then go for a walk, it just makes sense. I think the problem is that we are so messed up sometimes, and we need to try to stop the processes, like on a computer, just shut down the processes, reboot. And so I think it really helps to get in touch with something which is not grown by humans, because this kind of makes those systems of our own bodies get to work beyond what we think we are, because we are just a part of our system, and what I call I is just one process in my brain, and why is I more important than the other process in my brain? So I think it really helps to just say, now you go home, let the brain do its diversity, and this helps, I think. Yeah.
Right. And maybe there's something about the soul in there too, because some people were saying like, wait a minute, there's like, it's a broken soul. So maybe, I don't know, like I'm sure there's a book written on this, how like nature and mind and body heals the soul, which is like just that thing that makes us go and makes us love animals. I don't know.
I'd just like to add something regarding on what was just said. I think like even meditation is all about being mindful. Like when you say breathe, it's not that we don't breathe normally, it's just we're caught up, as he says. So when we're being mindful, we're actually letting go of what's happening here. We're just being present. And animals and children, they can do this naturally. But we have so much to do, like there's so much work to do, so we're always thinking about what to do next. We have to be here, there, always on the go. And I don't think we necessarily need a day on a week, or like there's things, many apps that you can get on your phone that help you become more mindful, and you can learn how to be mindful when you do things like eating, walking, and then you don't really need this. And like you said, your partner, he just sits down and he's just being mindful of his breath. Yeah. That's all he does. And like for everyone, it works differently, but it's, be present. And you can do it 5 minutes every few hours, or you can do it, when you do things like that you don't really have to think, like when you should actually think about what you're doing, just being mindful about them, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. No, totally. Thank you. No, I really appreciate that, because it's like I think that a lot of vegans are very mindful, like immediately, like they don't see a purse, that's like a snakeskin. It's not, a burger, that's a dead cow. So it's like we see through things out there, but the mindfulness within too. Yeah. So thank you for like talking about meditation.
I have a comment to make. My aunt actually told me a few months ago when I was traveling, because I was finding it a bit difficult emotional-wise, just to write on my hand, be kind to yourself. And so whenever I looked at my hand, I sort of also tried to just abandon my mind and just like literally like listen to your body. Like it's... If you consciously just listen to your body, and you can actually sort of like hear what it needs, like your mind might be going, oh, I need to do this and that, but then it's like, oh wait, my body is actually totally exhausted. It just needs a 10-minute break. And so you do whatever you do. It's different for everybody. For me, it's going for a run, or literally just sitting down for a few minutes, and you can just feel recuperated afterwards. So yeah, I totally agree with what everybody's saying.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Thank you. That's great. And you also kind of were on the Saskia bandwagon of that. You can pick up those moments anywhere. That's awesome.
Hi, I thank you very much for the talk and for all the comments as well, and for all the love. Really love the positive energy I've been feeling so far, and I'm actually a bit sad to go back home today. I'd like to add to that meditation as well, especially if you're living in the city, you don't have nature around you, and most of the things around you is really man-made. You do not have to drive another 100 kilometers to get into a forest just to take a walk. You can also just close your eyes and just imagine the nature around you, because your imagination is really what makes up your reality. And in yoga, meditation is actually a really big part of yoga. These amazing handstands that we see around us is just the physical part of yoga that we can do. But when you look at the old yogis in India, for example, they spend a lot of time on meditation. That's because all of our senses nowadays, we're only using it for outwards. So our eyes are looking at the things that actually have not so much to do with us. Our ears are to hear the things that is really not coming from inside us. And the things we speak as well are mostly reactions to what are happening around us. So it is really especially important for vegan activists to take 5 minutes of your day just to go inwards and just to be present with yourself. And that helps you to accept the things that we cannot change, and also to let go of these low vibrational anger emotions, the emotion we take defense of because our demands are not met. We need to learn to let go of these things, to accept this is the state of the things, and then to gain courage and, gain the breaths we need to move on with all the things we're doing. So, thank you, everyone.
That was awesome. Thank you so much. That's great. I want to add to that because you reminded me, Melanie Joy, she said something kind of similar to what you're saying. She said, I have yet to meet an activist who ceased being an activist merely because they let go of their trauma. So it's like, I thought that was really profound, because I guess some people are like, oh God, something might have led us to be an activist, but even if we figure that out and let that go, we're still an activist. It's not gonna, just because we let go of our own trauma doesn't mean we're not gonna still be an activist. I thought that was so cool, that letting go, that reminded me of her. But anyway, thanks, thank you, yeah.
Hi, thank you for a talk. Since we already talked before about this issue, basically I'm been currently studying an activist burnout, but since there is not much research about like vegan activist burnout, then I'm kind of trying to get some info currently from educational justice activist burnout. And basically what I discovered is kind of maybe what people can identify is the culture of martyrdom. That basically, which makes you to suppress your own feelings of exhausting and of basically, and also of your own self-care. And because basically, in one of the articles, for example, there was a talk about Amnesty International and the way they are basically the way they are using the culture of martyrdom, like in the headquarters, to make the activists to work as much as they can, but they kind of they live in this culture by saying, okay, so you are now here and you work, and then so you can be exhausted. That's for sure. We understand that, but there are so many other people that suffer as well. So how can you take 5 minutes of break? Get out, get on your hands, man. And that's kind of. Yeah, I think that's kind of also which really decreases the amount, because then these people are burned out, and they also because they also teach the younger generations, and they also teach the same practices, because it's kind of like communism. It's very invisible, can be, for the headquarters, this culture of martyrdom. So it's pervasive, and then it burns the whole movement. And I completely agree with the mindfulness. They are basically, it's. I don't know, maybe I can say it's kind of scientifically proven that the mindfulness, that they help, that there have been many interviews with education justice activists, and they've been practicing yoga and silent walking and meditation, and just helps, yeah. So that's what I want to say. Thanks.
Thank you. And you reminded me, I don't know why this reminded me, because I was thinking marathon, run for a long term. This isn't like a short sprint run. We have a long distance to go together. Hopefully not that long. But like, yeah, I remember being in the car. It was like 2003. I went to some Yale conference, and I was in the car with like Paul Shapiro and Dan, who's this amazing guy who like gives like loads of money to Compassion Over Killing, just all like houses vegans in DC, and like we're driving up and driving back down, and we're there, and we're like, this is back in 2003, so I guess 14 years ago. I said, oh my God, because we were just talking about this, like how it's part of our heart, part of our soul, and we're going to carry this long term. I was like, we're going to grow old together. We're all going to grow old together, you know? Anyway, I don't know why that's happy. But yeah.
Is there another question or comment?
I didn't see all of the talks or hear all of the talks, but you're the first one and maybe the only one who's talked about forgiving ourselves for things. I don't know if anyone, maybe I'm wrong, but, and I'm not saying that the other people who are presenting probably, they probably believe that as well, but you're the first one to actually vocalize it. And I think that means a lot to everybody. It means a lot to me. And, you know, I think we take things to bed at night and we rack our brains with things we could have said, things we could have done, animals we could have saved, and for years and years and years. And I mean, I do that with, you know, the pigs I can't save. And the thing I should have said to that guy in that cube of truth, I could have said that, but I said it differently. And I'm just like, why am I getting so hung up on this stuff? I'm doing good things. And my husband's super awesome. He's always there to like reassure me and tell me how good I am, even though I'm just like, no, I'm just doing what I should. And so I think it is really good. And I don't think we forgive ourselves enough for the things that we can't do. Or maybe the thing we could have done, but maybe we just didn't do it. And I think that you just learn from that, move on, and yeah, just forgive yourself. And I think that'll help a lot with moving all that energy through our body and letting it go. But thank you for saying that. Aww. And I'm sorry about the dog in Greece. Oh, I have a Greek rescue. You can come play with her all the time. Oh. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any more questions or comments? Anything you'd like to say? Okay, one more.
Just for the second to last comment, there have been 2 PhD theses on why burnout is more prevalent in the animal rights movement than in other social justice movements. If you are interested, I can hook you up where you find the sources.
Okay, thank you. So I want to thank all of you for sharing all of your experiences, and if I may add something as well. So I think maybe we can all do this together on our way home. If you are on a plane or on a train where you're able to take a few minutes, just think about something that you like doing and just write it down. I mean, it can be anything. You mentioned so many amazing things. It can be a sport. It can be reading a few pages out of the book. It can be, I don't know, taking a walk for a few minutes, and just write it down. Put it somewhere where you can find it. And maybe, which I feel helped me lately, I mean, we all have awesome friends around us. So if you find this time, if you're in a place where you feel like, oh my God, everything sucks, and I don't know, everything is so hard right now, think about one friend that could support you in, you know, practicing letting go or anything else that make you feel better. And maybe, like, when you leave this conference, give this person a call and tell them, hey, I want to work on this, I want to work on letting go, or I want to work on whatever we talked about. And maybe you can tell us or ask this person, hey, is it okay if I have a few negative minutes? Can I call you, and can you like kick my butt and tell me, you know what, let it go, or just help me through this? Maybe that helps as well. So just as a little comment at the end, and I want to thank you so much for your amazing positive talk. And
so my pleasure. I'm like honored. Yeah. I'm so honored, you know? It's like, because that friend is just like, I feel like I would be able to go to any one of you and say it, and we're here. We're all here for each other, you know?
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thanks.